Hello, hello, my lovely League audience. Alright, so we're in the top portion. We're like up there. And we're going Nunu in the jungle again. Yes. Nunu forever. Anyway, so Nunu forever. Forever. Okay, so mostly we have to itemize versus the Katarina because that's just like so our second item is going to be let's see, talisman, refill potion. I don't think I have the sound turned on. There we go. There's sound. Okay. Okay, we're gonna be stealing away the red buff, as usual, from the Jarvan. Alright, so what do we have here? We have a Mundo Pop. And we have a Gnar. And Gnar wins the matchup early game, but falls off later later on. Katarina's gonna hit her spike mid game, and she's gonna want to get lots of resets on her Shumpo. Nice that my buddy here is gonna be helping. I could go a little quicker. Yeah, thank you, buddy. There we go. Gonna wait for our buddy Scuttles. There we go. We don't have to worry about top lane. Morgana is a very tough lane to Morgana is a very tough lane to gank, so I'm not worried about that either. But I do need to hand this over to Morgana. Oh, she doesn't want it. Alright, I tried. Alright, so Jarvan's gonna make his... Or at least Jarvan, what he should do is make his way this way because he doesn't have a red buff. He doesn't have any of that to help him out. So if I was Jarvan, I'd be like, oh no! See, there he is! There he is! He got down there sooner than I thought. Oh, Jarvan, the man. Oh, but Jarvan gave away a kill to, Alright. Gianna's gonna be a butt. Not let me Not let me get that Janna. We're gonna walk over here. Now we really don't need to go after this lane because Vayne is she's got double buffs, so that'll provide some protection. And Vayne farms. Vayne needs her farm. And it looks like Morgana's doing just fine. We've got a Mountain Drake up. It's not too essential to get that. We're gonna throw a ward. We should throw a ward on that side, but we'll throw a ward on that side because we're just over on this side. We'll be lazy. Hopefully that doesn't get thrown back in our faces. Because Jarvan is gonna be on this side. Okay. Go to this side. We're gonna speed ourselves up with some blood boil, and then we're gonna secure scuttles. Oh wait, what's going on here? He's going bot. Okay, that's really inefficient for them, or that's really inefficient for Jarvan, meaning that this camp is gonna be up. He's just spending too much time bottom. Alright, I'm gonna throw a ward over. Jarvan is still... he's still down there. Yeah, Jarvan is wasting so much time down there. I'm gonna be stealing his red soon. I don't think Jarvan is still down there. Oh, the little guy. Okay, I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna take a little chomp. Okay. I'm gonna put a ward there. Oh, we're gonna hide for a moment. Okay. Jarvan kind of pieced out right there. We're gonna take this so we can provide some mobility and utility to our guys. Just in case they take this river, they'll have this to be sped up, essentially. And Jarvan spent all that time in bot, and he didn't get anything for it. I'll be able to hand this off to Morgana as soon as she comes. Now my, sorry. I thought that might happen with Morgana. Oh well, what can you do? She'll be alright. She's fairly efficient. Okay, there's Jarvan. So he's not at my red. We do need to pay attention to Katarina, though, because this is when she spikes. This is when her damage spikes. So everyone needs to be quite careful. Okay, there's Katarina, so we're just fine now. Okay. He's gonna find nothing over here, the Jarvan. He's probably going to come down. They're trying to get things set up. All right. Interesting. All right, we're not gonna push any farther than that. We're gonna take care of this. All right. Now we're gonna aim to go bot side, so we're gonna get some enchantment. Cinder Hulk, and I think it's actually got Moby Boots this game. He's gonna be working on this. Okay, he's not gonna finish it off. Although we might be able to catch up to him. Okay. Just gonna poke him a bit. Alright, we're gonna seek to hit Scuttles over here. Jarvan is trying to get a kill on the Morgana, but that is pretty hard to do that. Jarvan is checking out. He was checking out this, I believe. His red is up. I'm gonna go pay his red a visit. Okay. Put that over there, and we're gonna place that right there. We have, oh, that's great timing. Yeah, but so yeah, Jarvan needs to really pay attention to his there's no point in doing that, Morgana. Okay, there's nothing over here. Okay. He's a little too healthy to go after him. Next item we're gonna go Geas of the Legion. Do that. Head on out. Cat won't be able to do much damage, or she'll do no damage whatsoever. Jarvan's gonna discover that his red is gone again. We're gonna see if we can give this to the Morgana. Oh. Alright, I gotta take this. Just seeing if... Oh man, he's just... Alright. I'm gonna speed him up. We're gonna try to get, well, okay, it's a little dangerous to... We can try. We can try. Okay, Morgana needs to be careful here. I was close to Morgana, so she may have thought I was gonna help her. Alright. So we're gonna travel to this side. Oh. Alright. Just kinda interested in just that. Okay, nothing there. And we don't want to fight Cat, but it would be nice to get status of what's going on. Oh, hey guys. Okay. Oh, that's not good. See if I can get this. Just kind of, Oh, you missed, buddy! Oh, you missed! Gotta dodge one more time. Ah, I got away. Oh, that was some slick. That was slick, man. Right. A slickster getting away with. Alright, I gotta keep up here because the Bundo is just gonna keep pushing in. Alright. So, Rift Herald is looking pretty nice right now. Alright, there's nothing over here. Alright, that's great. So they're down at Dragon. Alright, we're not gonna keep bothering him. Not gonna keep bothering him, so... Jarvan is pushing, So they're trying to push pretty hard. Pretty hard at the moment. I should go after... Oh, there's so much farm. Okay. But top is gonna eventually push. Alright, that's fine. Just warn her. Now we're gonna get our item here. And we're gonna get Frozen Heart. So with Baron coming up, this is a great opportunity to go for Baron. They're gonna they're essentially gonna overextend. There we go, first overextension. There we go. Baron is ours, boys. They don't know the power of the Nunu. That's right, the power of Nunu. All right, there we go. We're going to upgrade that. We are going to get that. And I don't know what the guys are doing. They just got rid of a Rift Herald. Okay. All right. I need to get on this side. Alright, so I don't have my ultimate. Nice, Snar, my man. So they're just gonna figure out that they're not gonna do a whole lot of damage. Yeah, we're safe. Yeah, they all went back. So we're looking at 800 damage. Easy stuff. Alright. Morgana did not care for that. That's alright. Okay. Interesting. Alright, we're gonna head back. Alright, we're gonna get this item, that item, see what we can do. Get ready to pop our okay. And they're not going to be able to do much, and I have to go back. But our team is just pushing a little too hard with the fights. That's all. Yeah, they're just pushing a little too hard with the fights. Alright, we're gonna put a ward right here in case the Mundo decided to steal. Okay, Baron is gonna be in 1 minute. I'm glad that our team is on the page with that. Although it's a little difficult because the enemy has let's see, we're gonna build this next. So we shouldn't be fighting here. Now we gotta leave. Alright. That was bad re-engage. Or bad engage in general. Okay. The fight went on too long. You guys pushed too many fights. Okay. The Vayne needs to attack somebody here. Yeah. So this game's over. Our team essentially pushed too many fights. In the mid game. In the mid to late game, they pushed too many fights. Okay, so we're gonna give it to Gnar. Yeah, we'll give it to Good Shot Calling Gnar. To our team, we pushed too many fights in the mid to late game. You must understand the matchup when you have Katarina in the game. All right. So most of the team left before I really had to say anything. There was issues with Vayne and her ability to orb walk. Jarvan does make that difficult because of the distances that he can cover. But too many times our team just was fighting when they didn't need to. Like, I can count at least 3 times that our team they didn't need to fight. So we just had to, like, ward correctly and then try to go for objectives. And we didn't have to push fights. They had to push fights because they did not scale. So that was a mistake on our part. It's hard to convey that to a team. One of the things that they were surprised about was, and then Vayne had not joined us during the Baron, is they didn't think that we could get Baron because of the lack of damage. But it just kind of showcases what they missed, like what they didn't understand about my champion, about general mechanics of the game, and their own mechanics. Like, Vayne lacked her own mechanics, and it is difficult to be verse, guys like Jarvan, Katarina, with her ability to reset her Shumpo, get more damage. But yeah, as soon as Vayne was dead there, we had no choice but to leave. So essentially, our team didn't know what to do. But there are ways to sort of corral your team to doing what needs to be done. I guess I could have pinged my team away to try to save somebody. But as soon as your team engages, as soon as your team seems to, try to start something, even if they get a pick, it's not something that's worth it, because then you give up your positioning. And then, we still needed to farm. We still needed to wait for later in the game. And Baron was coming up, so it was like our team just didn't know what to do. And as far as kills are concerned, the Vayne, she went Blade of the Rune King first. This is the meta where you build, like, if you want bursty damage with Vayne first, before anything else, you want to get Infinity Edge. You want to get items that crit, that do burst damage. Blade of the Rune King is going to be useful, but it's not going to do damage. It'll help her survive, but it's not going to do that much damage. So early on, Vayne has, like, she should have been spiking in damage that last fight, but she didn't because she was severely underfed. Even more so than I realized. It's one of those things that I have the hardest time getting to do, is opening up items because I'm so focused on everything else and kind of looking at what people are building. And in this case, Vayne is severely lacking in damage. And not only that, she couldn't have done very well in lane. Like, 147 versus 171, and she's got, she's behind on CS. She's lacking damage. She's not building correctly, and she should know better than, if you're an ADC main, or whatever the case, or you have a good general knowledge. It seems to me that this character, he or she is only good at so many things, and the general knowledge of the game. So this person is only good in certain laning positions and certain characters, but as far as ADC, she or he doesn't understand. how to CS. But for me, I can't CS well either. But as far as building like my items and what I can do, you know, I'm a little more capable than that. I can't play characters like Vayne. I have to play ADCs like Jinx because Jinx, she is a little better orientated, I find, for noob ADCs, for ADCs that like to throw that rocket around and get sped up with your passive. But anyway, so we did what we could with these guys, but sadly we couldn't pump out enough damage to make any difference. Like Vayne needed a whole heck of a lot of damage, and I didn't even check that. Like, if I just would have checked somewhere early to mid game and say, hey Vayne, you're not building for this meta, or you're not building any damage, you know, you're gonna delay the game. You're gonna delay your own power spike, which is gonna put the entire team behind. We can't do anything together except wait for the other team to knock our turrets down. And that was the strategy that I was waiting for when the other team decided to stay. That move that I did got some kills, and we got the Baron. And that would have allowed us to continue fighting into the later game. But we would need to get into much later game because the Vayne pushed her item spike so far back into the game. Like, literally, she does no damage as far as damage goes. As far as these other guys are ahead in their tanky items, and they had some tanky items. Mundo, pretty much full tank. Yeah, he's all full tank. And then Jarvan's got your classic Titanic Hydra with Black Cleaver. So you're not gonna, you know, Vayne can't take care of these guys at all. So anyway, so let's go itemization time. The Lock of the Iron Solari did not offer that much protection towards my guys. The shield ran pretty quickly, but that's one of the things that Katarina can do, is just do loads of damage that negate even the fact that you have a Lock of the Iron Solari shield up. And Vayne was pretty squishy versus that. And what it tells me is Katarina was like having a good game, and she was still on a spike. Like, her spike should have ended earlier, but because she kept getting, you know, kill after kill, because they kept trying to push these little skirmishes and not realizing that is when Katarina's spike is, it prolonged Katarina's strength in the game. And it delayed any chance that Vayne can come back in the game with items. Vayne's gonna have to have something like 300 CS before she has any better, any good items. So we're talking we're talking double the CS she has now to actually do damage. The Blitzcrank sadly didn't seem to pull off any like positive feedback in the bot lane. The one thing about Blitzcrank is if you can, you'll have to finagle a little bit with Vayne because she doesn't have damage in the early game. But you can get kills with a Blitzcrank. It's a little tricky though. But I think that if Blitzcrank went, you know, and also later, or like earlier or later in game, Blitzcrank becomes less of a good champion in the end game, because you tend to want to pull anything that comes your way. If you pull a tank, a lot of times that can be bad. So there are negative returns when it comes to Blitz in the late game. That in the early game, Blitz is pretty powerful, but because Vayne doesn't have that much power in the early game, it makes getting kills on Vayne a little difficult. You really have to sync up all your abilities. You're condemned. You got to get a certain amount of, yeah, it's definitely going to be hard for that lane, in my opinion. If he wanted to get, like, Vayne is a late game champion, so I would think you would want to go to a Braum, or just someone who can protect Vayne more. And the Gnar I felt like was doing a decent, was doing decently, but against a Mundo, it's fairly hard, and he just didn't press. He just didn't impact the game enough because Morgana, well, Morgana was doing okay, but Morgana is not the kind of champion that can push for team kills that much. I mean, well, in a way she is, because she has her binds, but she's still not going to do that kind of burst reset damage that Katarina has. One of the reasons why Katarina can be so successful in solo queue is because Katarina has to be handled specially in her own way, just like Morgana has to be handled specially. Like with Morgana, you have very long binds, and so you need to have MR to negate damage, because she can chunk you pretty hard, and you need items to clear those binds. With Katarina, you just have to stay out of her way mid-game. Just don't push the mid-game, because that's her spike. That's her damage spike. She will fall off as the enemy team who's fighting against Katarina gets stronger and stronger MR, and so her burst damage falls off, and it's harder for her to get her resets. Earlier in the game, you're not going to have much magic resistance, so Katarina has a much easier time getting her resets and doing lots of damage. So Gnar looks pretty standard. You've got Frozen Mallet giving him health and the ability to slow people, and Black Cleaver to do damage over time with every hit. And then he's going to go into more defense items as the game progresses. But as it is, like, our guys barely have any defensive items as it is, and we just needed to hold out until later on in the game. So the KDA for most of our team is not great, and it also allowed for their bot lane and their Katarina to really have a spike and a prolonged spike, especially for Katarina. The Vayne, like I said, has no damage, and for this meta, it's like, if you want Blade of the Rune King, expect to farm or have a lot of faith in your ability to duo and participate in some kind of skirmishes. Like, team fighting would be difficult with Blade of the Rune King because you just don't do enough damage. And even for, squishies and all that, you would want critical damage anyway to take them out ASAP. You don't want to be like you don't want to be dueling for a long time. A bruiser that can just do a lot of damage in one burst and take you out. You want to be able to condemn and then just take out. And the Morgana, who had the best luck on our team, which is interesting enough, that the Katarina did so well that the Morgana wasn't able to subdue Katarina that much. But I imagine that Katarina's success lies mostly in a lot of those small skirmishes and the team fights. That's where Katarina was shining. The Mundo didn't do particularly well. His CS is suffering a bit. But because he's tanky, he can still be... That's the strength of tanks. Like, you can slow people down, and you can get objectives done. You can get your carries ahead, and you can absorb so much damage. And you can still... Mundo still does a lot of damage. When I was trying to get away from him, I knew that he's going to keep throwing his trophy at me, slowing me down by like a ton. So I just kind of healed up. And once I kind of did that, a little playfully, I feel like it threw off his aiming. So the last couple of trophies that he threw at me, he missed, and I got away. All right, so the Janna I felt did very well. A Janna and an Ashe. Like, Janna adds shield, so it's very hard for a Blitzcrank Vayne to do damage, let alone trade well. So Janna is like an excellent pick, and she's got Art Ancestor. She's got all the excellent items that you should have as support. And then Jarvan, again, you've got your natural Jarvan stuff. You're going to do a lot of burst damage with Titanic Hydra. He probably would have done better. Instead of going Warrior, he should have gone Cinder Hulk. It's going to save you some money, and you're going to do plenty of damage with Titanic Hydra. And then on top of Black Cleaver. So he's doing way too much damage. But he did fairly well. In my opinion, I would have at least gone Cinder Hulk at least. And then in addition to these other items. Pretty standard for Jarvan, except for his Enchantment Warrior. He's just going a little more offensive. Ashe, you've got damage coming from an Infinity Edge and then Runons. So this is going to do a total of 50 50% chance. So 1 out of 2 chances to do critical strike. And in addition to Infinity End's bonus damage of doing 50% more damage. So let's say you do 100 critical. You have about 1 out of 2 chances of hitting that critical. But when you do critical, it'll do 150 damage. That's substantial right there. And then Lord Dominic's Regards to deal with high health enemies. I'm high health, Blitzcrank's high health, and Nar's high health, which is a good item for the Ashe. And comparatively to the Vayne, Vayne has got a little damage with Phantom Dancer, but not much with the Blade of the Rune King. And Ashe is sitting on quite a lot of damage. More specifically, he's targeting that damage with high health guys, which targets 3 of our guys, which is a substantial amount of damage, which makes that item quite viable to get. Then finally, you've got the Katarina. She's got survivability with Rylai's Crystal Scepter. She's got survivability with Zanya's. So she's building to last and not so much have a lot of burst, but continue to poke until people are low enough to where she can use her Shumpa, where she can get her resets. So this is actually a conservative build from Katarina. And I implore that. She's actually not going to die very easily. And that can kind of trick people because a lot of people think that Katarina is fairly squishy. And so, hey, let's try to kill Katarina. But in this case, she's going for a more versatile, more long-lasting build that can trick people in how you would approach a Katarina. All right, so we were outmatched that game, but we came back a little bit. I would say we showed our teeth a little bit. I would take back that we came back, but we showed our teeth a little bit with the move of blowing a couple of their flashes and then getting them still in the end. With my Blood Boil and my Ice attack, I can slow people down. And we got Baron. So what we still needed to do, I needed to emphasize that Vayne needed items, that we needed. I mean, if I knew that, I needed to tell people that we need to farm until Vayne has 2 more items when she actually does damage. So no skirmishing, no team fights. And with Baron, you know, it's a little bit of an insurance policy because, first of all, the enemy can't get Baron, and your minions are gonna help deter the sieges and stuff. But yeah, so we did what we could. But as far as we are concerned, we could have done more as far as analyze itemization and try to explain the fact that the reason why you don't want to fight now is because Katarina is at her power spike. Okay. So more things to think about when we play our next game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. This is Arch signing out. Hi-oh!